between the three of them. You ready to go?
I'm ready. Love this place. The Marriott Center, one of the great arenas without a doubt in college basketball.
BYU in the home whites, Colorado on the road in the black uniforms, and off we go inside the Marriott Center. It's Colorado who's coming off of a 34-point loss to Texas Tech on Wednesday. They are ready to get that bad taste out of their mouth.
Yeah, I think that's a great setup by you, Noah, and just understanding what they went through, right? 2 days of practices to really kind of get things back. And they're going to come out. I talked to Evan Batty, their assistant, right before they hit the court. He said energy and effort the key.
And that's a good start. You get Isaiah Johnson, your star freshman, with the first 2 points of the day.
Yeah, went to the rim, and that's a sign, right? Trying to get to the bucket, attack, getting downhill.
BYU was able to snap a 4-game losing streak on Tuesday. Road game, hostile environment at Baylor. That's batted away. And Colorado with a good start offensively, 2 points. They get a stop on the defensive end, and Richie Saunders is down holding onto his leg underneath the basket. His head coach is Kevin Young in year number 2. Spent 17 seasons either as an NBA or G League coach, including 4 with the Suns when Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul were all there. Last thing you want to see 45 seconds into this game, Richie Saunders, the senior, the local kid from here in Utah, down on the ground being attended to.
Yeah, their second leading scorer and such a great piece. And you mentioned local kid. Here's on the right side. We'll see him go up trying to pass it. Looked like no other Colorado player was there.
He's up off the floor, and a hand from this crowd inside the Marriott Center. Four-year player, which is becoming more and more rare in college basketball. You just saw him put his hands up there, says, I'm good, I'm good. But stayed at one place the entire time from this state, and a loud ovation from the crowd after that.
Yeah, went to Wasatch Academy, as you mentioned. They love him here at BYU, and being a local kid, and not just a local kid that does a good job, but does a great job. He is an NBA prospect and their second leading scorer.
Barrington Hargress, who's been really great, the transfer from UC Riverside. Worked the ball into the lane, kick out. Dak thought about the 3. Instead drives right into Keita, takes contact, can't finish. A.J. Bonsa comes flying in for the rebound, but he's the last to touch it, and it stays on this end with the Buffs. Now, Tad Boyle in year number 16. He's already the winningest coach in Colorado history. He's got 28 wins against top 25 teams since he's been in Boulder. That's the most in Colorado program history, as Hargress is off the line on the 3.
A lot of pros come out of Colorado. Tad's done a fantastic job developing those pros.
Kennard Davis had it swiped away. He regathers and scores the first 2 for BYU.
You know, interesting there, Kennard Davis. He has been a 3-and-D guy for this BYU team, but Coach Young really wants him to be more downhill, attack more, and there we see it with his first meaningful touch getting to the rim. Nice job.
Thought he did really well doing that against Baylor. All 12 of his points came in the second half of that game. Offensive rebound, Dak with the stick back.
Well, what have we seen from Colorado? The first 3 possessions all in the lane. They've been attacking the lane, inside the lane, trying to score and make attempts in the lane, and it's worked.
Body foul there is called against Colorado on the drive by Wright, and they're really getting it after on the offensive glass.
They really are. That was one of the things. There's Davis coming in, got blocked there, regathered to get off of 2, and to your point, he did that so well against Baylor, and here's Dak on the other end. I think, you know, Dak is one of those guys nationally. A lot of people don't know Dak, but he is incredibly talented. The numbers aren't there yet. He's got good numbers, but man, he's got a high ceiling.
They were minus 17 on the glass against Texas Tech Wednesday, gave up 17 offensive rebounds, and Tad Boyle said, we need to be doing that to our opponents. They force a turnover, get a chance to go out and run, and it's swatted by DeBonsa.
Yeah, good hustle. He lost the ball, but did not give up on it.
Rob Wright, shifty move in the lane, can't lay it in. Colorado comes away with the rebounds. Deep three. Ron Sheik is off the mark. Wright slicing through the defense, goes high off the window, it won't crawl through. Rebound batted around and BYU comes away with it.
Tad Boyle said one of the other things they need to do is get back on defense. The last two possessions, BYU has missed layups, but they have been looking right at the rim.
Davis barrels into the lane, gives it off for Cato, who left it short.
And you just wonder from kind of continuity. Richie Saunders out, don't have that same starting five, had to change right away.
It's a great point. Goes down 45 seconds into the game. They have to go into the bench early. Three is a little bit too strong. That's Hollins. Another one of those freshmen that Tad Boyle is really high on. DeBonsa out in front of the pack, and he draws a whistle. 2 free throws for a guaranteed lock to be a top 3 pick in this year's NBA draft.
Yeah, he is. We talked about him on the Open, and it's just going to be fun to watch in person. You and I know it, getting a chance, just to see him up close, and not just how he moves, but his body language, how he reacts to things. That was one of the things that Coach Young really talked about to you yesterday. You asked him a question, and it's a lot of body language. Kind of, I mentioned Booker in the Open. Coach Young coached Devin Booker, and he said, he's a killer. And those are the type of things from an emotional kind of IQ and those things, and mental, you try to get better. And I think AJ's done a wonderful job at it.
And DeBonsa alluded to it when he committed here to BYU. He said it meant a lot to have Kevin Young, who spent 17 years on a staff in the NBA or the G League. He knows what it takes to get guys ready for the next level.
It's a great point. And in this day and age, it's even more important. There's Dak going up high, not getting it. DeBonsa did something really cool after the BYU win in their press conference. And you see it right there. And this is a good segue, so we see Wright the third knock it in. He said what was great about the win against Baylor, we were doing that for Robert Wright. I thought that meant a lot, to me, is like, hey, I'm looking out for my teammate.
Former Baylor player who had a career-high 30 against his former team. That felt good.
Yep, that great point on that to extend that story, why it was so important. And by the way, Robert Wright III was getting hit up by the fans there. It was a hostile environment. They were calling him a traitor, and I thought Kevin Young did a good job. He said, hey, Baylor fans were very respectful, but Robert Wright got it going. He still is.
AJ DeBonsa, generational talent, the #1 recruit coming out of high school this past year. He now leads the nation at 24.5 points per game. He's one of the front runners to win National Player of the Year. And his head coach, Kevin Young, really raves about the consistency and how this guy shows up every day and handles all of the hype and attention.
Handles his business. He works hard. He's in the lab, and the numbers back it up, right? You're leading the NCAA, 5 games with 30 or more, tied Kevin Durant. And a guy who was also pretty good here as a freshman.
That freshman 30-point game records was held by Danny Ainge. He had 2. DeBonsa already has 5 this year. I mean, think about the guys that are in the building today. Danny Ainge, AJ DeBonsa, Jimmer Fredette, Matt Muehlbach. This place is loaded.
Noah Reed from come on, we got an Indiana player, a shooter from Indiana in the ball game here.
Early 7-4 lead for BYU.
How about Danny Manning, won a national title with Kansas over there on the bench.
Hargress slithering into the lane, shut off by DeBonsa. Shot clock dips down to 5. Johnson with a kick out. Hargress lines up for 3, missed it. Saved in, and it stays with Colorado.
Yeah, you made a good point earlier, Noah. Colorado on the glass. And anybody that's followed Tad Boyle, Colorado basketball, 2 words really sum up this program: defense and rebounding. And they didn't do it the other night against Texas Tech. He was embarrassed by it, but they have come out in this first, almost 5 minutes and really hitting the glass hard.
Already 3 offensive rebounds just a few days after they were -17 against Texas Tech on the glass. Shot clock winding down again, down to 3. Johnson against Davis, up with the left it short, and it was last touched by the Buffaloes.
You know, I think it's going to be interesting to watch Colorado today as well, because when you hear get back on defense for Colorado, maybe the most important aspect of that is good shots on offense, not turning it over, no live ball turnovers, but really quality shots. That'll help them on the defensive end, and they've been pretty good at that so far.
Yeah, getting good shots, just not getting them to drop. 2 for 11 to start the day. DeBonsa, the lob to Keita.
Nice little back screen right there, set play. That was called there by Kevin Young. Nice job from the bench to do that. I was a little disappointed because, okay, in my top 5 dunkers in the nation, Keita is the hardest, most powerful, electric dunker in the nation. You decide to lay that in. Noah, I was waiting for that one.
You got to bring this place to life.
Right?
Off the deflection that time. He might have been the last one to touch that. The foul is going to get the credit for the 2 points.
Well, interesting here, Colorado now 2 possessions, trying to go this little full court or 3/4 court pressure, maybe try to get time off the clock.
DeBonsa kick out right, elevates for 3 and rattles it down. Already his 2nd of the day.
You know the number statistically that may have jumped out at me the most when you and I studying for these teams is Robert Wright III, 44% three-point shooter. He's leading the team in three-point percentage when you think of minimum attempts. I mean, and he doesn't shoot a ton. He shoots enough of them, but he's a very, very dependable three-point shooter.
Hargress with a quick answer.
And there's another one that is. We'll talk about him. Hargress is almost a 50-40-90 guy.
Tyler Maras, we're trading threes back and forth.
Now this is fun, and you can feel, we talked about the energy in the building. I've always felt energy in the building leads to great offense because kind of speeds things up, and this place, there's not a seat open in the entire house, and both teams bringing it.
Johnson with a kick to the corner. Sanders gets in the paint. Wide open, Johnson left alone, and he sticks a 3. The teams have combined for 4 threes in the last 4 possessions.
Well, that was set up by Sanders. Sanders is the glue guy on this Colorado team, and he opened that shot mainly because of the touch in the paint. When Colorado has gotten touches, Noah, they've been pretty positive on offense.
They get a carry on A.J. DeBonsa here. Fans don't like it.
Here's that oop, and you can see the back screen. It was a screen the screener right there, and the lay-in right there by Keita, who can bring down the rim. Maybe he was just making sure he didn't want to break the glass on that one. But we talked about AJ right there, and how about that response to a carry? Very cool, came back, said no problem, didn't challenge or contest the call at all. I thought good job by him there.
The mental side is what Kevin Young said they're really focused on right now. Hargress into the paint, +1. Chance to tie the game up.
Now Hargress there just goes one-on-one and just finds a seam, able to kind of get an angle right there on the BYU players, and shot it almost falling down. So just a great play by him using his body. Not a lot of height from Hargress, but I think veteran, I talked about the 50-40-30. His numbers, 54% from the field is really good for a guard at 6, barely over 6 foot. 49% from 3, 80% from the line. Got a way to go from the free throw line.
Well, and he just missed one there. Couldn't complete the 3-point play.
And I'll tell you, to me, the 50-40-90, the hardest of those 3, Noah, is the free throw line. I've seen guys, a number of guys in this around the country this year. Nice.
Tyler Maras with 2 threes already off the bench, filling in for Richie Saunders.
Yeah, great point, because that's who he came in for. He was firing up the crowd right there, and that's one of those, look, you're always got to be ready, but you don't think you're going to go in 45 seconds into the game, and nice response by him.
He's hit 2, Robert Wright has hit 2, and BYU's a perfect 4 for 4 from distance.
Well, against Baylor, they were, what, 3 of 19 from 3 and scored 99.
Yeah. So
get ready today, scorekeeper.
Good defense as it comes collapsing down on McKaylee. You said it, look out when the 3s start falling, and they are for BYU.
They are falling. It's great teamwork. They're passing the ball. Everybody contributing. Got a great one here at the Merit Center.
I'm embarrassed by our performance. I'm embarrassed for our university. I'm embarrassed for the city of Boulder. I'm embarrassed for the state of Colorado. I'm embarrassed for every former player that's worn this uniform. And we got to own this. We're just not tough enough on the road. When things get tough and the other crowd gets going and they make a few shots, we start feeling sorry for ourselves.
Well, not hard to figure out how Tad Boyle felt about the loss to Texas Tech. And he explained to me earlier today that, hey, I wasn't embarrassed that we lost. You can play really well in the Big 12 and lose games. It's a great conference. He goes, but the lack of effort and toughness is the thing that I was really embarrassed about.
Yeah, and that's what he's hung his hat on for so many years at Colorado. And you know what got me as a former player was, he said, I'm embarrassed for the players. And I think of all those guys I've covered. He's got a laundry list. You know, Derek White, Spencer Dinwiddie, Alec Burks, Tristan Da Silva, McKinley Wright, Andre Robertson, and two guys on their bench, Evan Batty and Nate Tomlinson, that were players for him. So that means a lot when you call that out and say embarrassed for former guys.
DeBonsa got the defender up. He wanted a whistle, didn't get it. Scramble for the rebound. Colorado comes away with it. Here's Johnson barreling down the lane. It's swatted. Johnson was standing on the baseline. It goes back to BYU.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was the coolest thing right here. No foul. They got into him. I thought that was a foul there. He knew it, but, you know, watch this block here. So when they were running back, you know what was so cool was DeBonsa indicated, I think, to him right there, you got the guy with the ball. I'm going to trail him and get the trail block, the follow block. It was such a cool play. He didn't get it, but Ahmed got it.
Third block already for BYU in this first half. Davis working in the lane. 5 to shoot. DeBonsa attacks, fades away. 15-footer won't get the bounce. Offensive rebound, putback will not go for Boop.
And Boop was terrific in that Baylor game. He earned himself some minutes, and I think he's going to play more as the season goes on.
Yeah, 10 rebounds and a career-high 27 minutes for Boop off the bench against Baylor on Tuesday.
Cada was in foul trouble in that one, but now Richie Saunders not in the game. They've got to go to their bench again, and Boop's part of that.
Johnson off the heel on the 3. Rebound batted around, last touched by BYU, stays with Colorado. And you bring up Richie Saunders' name. Tyson Jex, the sports information director for BYU, came over to us at the last time out and said Richie Saunders will not return. So he went out with that injury 45 seconds in, and the senior from Utah will not come back.
Yeah, that obviously hurts them. I'm disappointed. Just got love to watch him. I think we talked about it, a pro. I think my comp for him is Landry Shamet, who actually Kevin Young coached at Phoenix, and they're really similar.
McKaylee can't get it to go. Rebound batted into the hands of Morus. Davis driving on deck. Floater is short.
Again, being aggressive for Davis, getting downhill. I think that's a shot that Coach Young likes.
Shooting has been streaky on both teams. Started slow, then got really hot. It's gotten slow again, but there's a chance for 3 here for Jalen Holland.
Now Holland, a freshman out of New Mexico, and great footwork in the lane to play off of 2 feet. She plays off of 2, uses that footwork to create the angle, and then the body to finish with the left hand right there. You talked about him earlier, and that's the type of guy that earns minutes, a young kid. And look at him there, hustling on the putback off a missed free throw. Wow.
4 quick points for Holland. Colorado's tied it up at 18, about 11 minutes in.
And one thing's clear, they are playing a lot harder than they played against Texas Tech.
I think that I'm embarrassed message from Tad Boyle got to these guys.
It did, absolutely. You love to see it as a fan too, just to see them bounce back like this.
Boop on a catch and shoot is too strong. Hargress, first team All Big West a season ago at UC Riverside when he averaged a conference best 20 points a night. Back cut, Johnson bumped by Morus, who picks up fouls on back-to-back possessions.
Now, Johnson has been prolific getting to the foul line. Not as much as Dibansa, but it's been prolific. And for a freshman at his size to get there so often, you know, they looked at him coming out of LA and they saw a really good player. But you never know in the Big 12. You know, not a real big guy, but incredible gift for the game and feel for the game.
To your point on the free throws, he's had 3 games this year where he's attempted at least 10 free throws, and in 2 of those games he didn't miss one. Went 11 for 11 one game, 13 for 13 in another, and I think that's a great point when you talk about his size being 6'1", the ability to get to the line.
And I like his shoes. He's got some sparkles on those shoes.
BYU turns it over. A little bit of a sloppy stretch from the Cougars since the last time out.
And this, you talked to Coach Young. This is what he was worried about, is a hungry, wounded animal, Colorado Buffs, and they are right now in rhythm and playing excellent basketball on the road.
And Barrington Hargress just had words for the BYU bench after that. It's a 12-3 run for Colorado. Rob Wright puts an end to it with a bucket inside.
Man, he'd be a hard cover and just a hard guard. I talked about how well he shoots it. So you gotta respect that on the outside, over 45%, and then he gets to the rim as good as anyone in the country with that frame. Stays real low to the ground.
Team high 8 for the BYU point guard. It's Elijah Malone, former NAIA national player. The year is short. Ahmed with the rebounds.
Yeah, nice job by Ahmed to keep that body into him right there and make it difficult.
Rob Wright, shifty move to the lane. He got the 2, but he's coming up a bit hobbly on that left ankle.
Boy, that side of the basketball is becoming like the Bermuda Triangle. 2 guys down right now for BYU.
Double digits now for Rob Wright, but if you're a BYU fan, you're holding your breath a little bit. 4 quick points for the point guard, but they'll have to check on him. Close game here in Provo. The Great American Race returns with back-to-back champion William Byron looking for a historic 3-peat. Does not get any bigger than this. The 68th running of the Daytona 500 tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern. Pre-race coverage starts at 11:30 a.m. only on Fox. 1-point lead for BYU at home against Colorado, and it has certainly not been stress-free for BYU fans because 45 seconds into the game, Richie Saunders goes to the ground holding his right leg. He's already been ruled out for the rest of the game, and then just moments ago, the point guard, Robert Wright, scores a bucket here, comes up holding his left ankle. The good news is it looked like he was okay, able to walk off the floor on his own.
Yeah, seems like he might come back, but interesting, 2 non-contact injuries almost in the exact same spot at the lower part of that lane, and I wonder if this is going to change what Colorado does to Dibansa and how they guard him. What they've been doing so far is not doubling him so much, it's just kind of sending help and being tight in the lane, but they may start doubling him because guys on the court not used to being out there getting shots.
They do send a double over to him quickly. Bošković goes flying through the paint. He missed the layup. Saunders 19 points a game. Wright, of course, we don't know his status yet, 18 points a game. That's a combined 37 between those 2 not on the floor right now.
Yeah, that's incredible, and we saw it right there in the last possession. Now, they didn't get back, but look, wide open shots from other players, and coming through is big right there.
Kostic, who immediately scores a 3 after checking into the game, pushes the lead up to 4.
Well, think about that. 2 guys that hadn't played, 2 possessions, they took the shots because Colorado is going to be all over Dibansa.
Hargress hops into the paint. Mid-range jumper. Ron Sheik connects.
Ron Sheik, to me, might be the most interesting player in this game. At his size, at 6'11", you see him there. That was the midi right there, off the dribble, wide open jumper here, made it again.
Bošković with the answer for BYU.
Yeah, Colorado not even sure what to do because I think they're changing up defenses, but AJ is the focal point. They got to make sure they cover everybody else.
A 10-2 run for BYU. Malone has a one-on-one. He's patient, works slowly, goes up with the right, missed it, K to the board.
Did everything but score. That's been a little bit of a theme so far for the Buffs.
They call an over and back here.
I don't think it was.
I'm with you. I don't think it was either.
I mean, I know DeBonsa has such long strides, and they sometimes fool you into thinking where he is, but I thought he was clearly over the line. We'll see on this one. It's almost like a lateral in football, right? You got to just, well, he's got to be down.
Yeah.
He can't jump in the air, and I wonder were his feet down when he caught it. I thought they were. Good replay there, and I couldn't tell for sure.
Face up. Dak falls away and hits. He was scoreless the other night for the first time in more than a year, but he's gotten off to a good start tonight.
He really has, and back to Ron Sheik and Dak, both of them. Tall, lengthy, they can score. Nice pass into Keita.
Easy two for Keita inside.
DeBonsa right there, just doing a good job. I think DeBonsa right now, this could be really interesting to watch him just direct traffic and try to get guys the ball. He's by himself out there when you consider the other two big scorers not on the floor.
You know, he might have to do more, but sometimes that more is facilitating more than it is scoring.
Exactly, great point. And now he's on D. Ron Sheik doing a good job getting inside on him. And there's the length by Ron Sheik. You don't realize, I watched a few games on TV this year, and you look at him and you think maybe he's 6'8", 6'9". He's like 6'11".
Yeah.
Like, he's really long.
In every bit of it, too.
In every bit of it, yep.
Bošković leaves his feet, floats a pass to DeBonsa. Got the defender to fly by. Elevates for three and sticks it.
Well, you talk about being patient, taking your time, and how, you know, his drive sets up that pump fake. That was like old school pump fake. Like, he went hard on the pump fake. It was not a little quickie. And man, the guy flew by and did a great job there to get that three then.
5 for DeBonsa, who already has 5 assists as well.
And really active on D. Seems like he's stepped up his leadership here.
Bošković got a hand on it, knocked it away from Hargris, but he regathers. Ron Sheik off the heel, and a collision on the glass, a foul against Colorado. Well, A.J. DeBonsa doing a bit of everything this afternoon.
You called it, the facilitator right there, getting it to Keita there and watching for his other guys. Nice, simple pump fake. The crowd loves this on Valentine's Day.
The King is back. The College Basketball Crown postseason tournament hits year 2. 8 teams from the top conferences put it all on the line, live from Las Vegas, exclusively on Fox and FS1. You can buy tickets in the Vivid Seats app or at vividseats.com. And you know, Matt, every team that's ever won the crown has started the following season 20-0.
Really?
Yeah, how about that? Well,
how many years?
We don't have to go that deep. You just take me for my word, would you?
Hey, as Mark Twain said, there are lies, damn lies, and statistics, right?
I am just stating facts. That's all I'm doing. What an awesome crowd here inside of the Marriott Center. Jersey retirement day for Jimmer Fredette. That'll happen at halftime, which is about 3.5 minutes away.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I mean, Jimmer Mania at its peak was one of the great things in college basketball, really in the last 25 years. I'm not even sure I could make a comparison to it.
DeBonsa, hand in his face on the three, left it short. Robert Wright III is back in the game. He sat the last 5 minutes after he came up hobbling on his left ankle a few moments back, but he's back out on the floor with a game-high 10 points for BYU.
You know what's funny right there, DeBonsa and Ron Sheik were I say going at it, but like in a friendly way. They were like, they're kind of giving each other a little something, but I think out of respect, obviously. And part of that, Ron Sheik has played well, so they've been guarding each other, and so it's a pretty cool matchup.
It's only the second missed three of the day for BYU. They had opened up 7 of 8 behind the three-point line. Here is Ron Sheik. Lost it. DeBonsa has numbers. 2-on-1, lowers the shoulder right into the defense and scoops it in.
Yeah, just such incredible decision-making. He would give it up, but it wasn't open on the right side, and then, as you said, use that shoulder. That's how you create space, and Dak just really had no chance.
Sanders stepping through, won't get the bounce. DeBonsa the rebound. Rob Wright tried to whip a pass inside to Bošković, but it's deflected out of bounds. Let's take a look at our Taste of Success, sponsored by Marco's Pizza. Get your Marco's Pizzas at marcos.com. Defense turned it into offense for DeBonsa.
Yeah, and the secret there, great steal. You got to help right there and gets all the way downhill. But that, when he got into Dak, and then the link finishes. But the key to that play and being really special is how hard do you use the physicality so it's not an offensive foul, and that's just instinct and a dude that just knows how to play.
Rob Wright swirls out on the floater right in front of the basket. Transition. Johnson off the hesitation, gets downhill and boarded by Keita. Largest lead of this game for BYU at 8. Trying to add to it. That was batted away. Holland got a hand on it. BYU retains possession. Tapped away. Colorado's got numbers. Here's Johnson. He scores. Crowd wanted to travel. They don't get it.
That was such an awkward play, but again, mentioned this earlier. You play off 2 feet. Allowed him, it looked like he was going to pass it backwards. I think that was his original intention. Did not do it because the BYU defender went backwards, so enabled him to lay it in.
Kevin Young takes his use it or lose it timeout with 1:18 to go, and his team up 6, trying to add to that lead before the break. Well, coming up at the Lincoln Financial Sports Desk at halftime, we got Mike Hill, LaFonso Ellis, and Seth Davis in our Los Angeles studios. They will touch on the action around the country, including that top 10 Big 12 game in Ames between Iowa State and Kansas.
Well, here was that steal. Isaiah taking it to the rim. He was going to pass it back right there, and then kind of got caught up. The defender, did you see the defender clap? Like I was gonna steal that on the back pass, and Johnson just held in there long enough to lay it in. And, you know, you look at his game, he actually has, I mean, obviously a lefty, it's easy to make this comparison, but has a little Isaiah Thomas in him from Washington and the Boston Celtics, and, you know, kind of plays with that, that little, just his body movements to me are a little similar. Not as big as Thomas, but only a freshman.
Morris catch and shoot for 3 and missed everything. DeBonsa saves it in. Davis comes down with it. Good pass inside from Wright, but it's ripped away.
I think Ron Sheik got his left hand in there.
Ron Sheik, blocking foul. Rob Wright, the third, called for the blocking foul. They say it's not on the shot, so Colorado has to inbound.
Well, the crowd hates it. They thought it was an offensive foul, and you look right, it's hard to tell on that angle, or maybe even a travel.
Batted away, and Davis was able to swat the ball off of Dak. It goes back to BYU. DeBonsa with the blow by, gets into the paint, and a whistle against Colorado.
You know, one thing Kevin Young does, again, a pro-style coach, all those years in the pros, that was a set call, but it's cool to see him call it, Noah, and them execute it within really like 2 seconds. They don't have to like set up, okay, we're running number 2. It's like, boom, that's their action. They got it right to DeBonsa. That was the play, and draws that foul.
Game high 10 points for Rob Wright. DeBonsa isolates, rises from the mid-range, bounces out. Keita can't gather the rebound. It does stay on this end, last touch by the Buffaloes.
DeBonsa's been short on a couple of the jump shots, and I think that's something he'll correct over time. And maybe get a little more arc on those shots. But you look at his shot, he has a very good, just functional shot. When you look at the fundamentals of it, I really like it.
Slips through 2 defenders and hits that jumper.
It almost remember like an early Tiger Woods. Like the harder the shot, the more fun and almost better he is at it. Like he loves those difficulty.
9 first-half points for one of the best players in college basketball. Has his team up 8. Shot clock turned off. Hargress goes with 10. Sanders dribble handoff. Here's Johnson. 5 to play in the half. Johnson with Davis all over him. Step back 3. Got it! Right before the effort at Texas Tech, they trail by just 5 on the road against top 25 BYU. A.J. DeBonsa had the final 7 points of the first half for the Cougars. He's got it here at the top. No Richie Saunders the rest of the game. Second leading scorer for BYU got hurt 45 seconds into the game and will not return. DeBonsa had it blocked, got it back, can't finish, left it short, and Ron Sheik with the rebounds.
Yeah, that length inside with Dak and Ron Sheik.
Holland traveled with it.
And you can see, Noah, the defense on AJ. If he gets it at the top, especially without a screen and roll, there's that first block. He stays with it. DeBonsa does, and then the length by Ron Sheik. That's good defense there. Colorado's got to convert on the other end when they do that.
They've made it pretty difficult on him tonight, haven't they?
They have. Like I said, and part of the reason he only has 7 shots, not just because he's being unselfish, which he is at a case in point, but he's not getting easy looks because they're not doubling him as much as they are just focusing on where he is, and help is from everywhere on the court.
Just saw him with a great pass there. He had 5 first half assists. Kennard Moo Davis, as they call him, going to the free throw line here for the Cougs. Transfer from Southern Illinois, where he spent 2 years, was most improved player in the Missouri Valley a season ago, averaging 16 a game for the Salukis. Two for 2 trip for Davis, extends the lead to 7, less than a minute into the second half. Shot clock already down to 10, nearly a turnover. Ron Sheik with a kick to the corner. Holland elevates for 3 and buries it.
Yeah, that's what they need. They need help from other players. I mean, Johnson can only do so much, Hargress so much. They need somebody else, a third guy, to step up.
They're going to start giving Holland more minutes, too. Tad Boyle's been really happy with the production he's given, just a freshman, and they said he's going to get more opportunities, and he's delivered with that chance.
Well, this is why Ron Sheik is so good. He gets doubled or sees the double coming and gets the pass off so quickly that allowed Holland to have space, and he buried it.
7 for the freshman Hollins, who scored more than 2,000 points in just 3 years of high school ball at New Mexico. Lob inside. Ron Sheik has the size advantage on right, and he's fouled. Second on Rob Wright.
Trying to go into Ron Sheik a lot in this second half, and it's paid off for the Buffs so far.
He was a starter for a majority of the season, then came off the bench for 3 games, Matt, and now he has started the last 2. He was asked last week about the change in role, and he said, I don't view it as a change in role at all. I'm playing 30 minutes a game, whether I'm starting, whether I'm coming off the bench. For me, there's no difference.
Yeah, and I think that's such a good attitude from somebody to really understand that. Doesn't really matter. You see guys like Tobe Awaka at Arizona coming off the bench. He was started, 35 games last year. You go to your senior year and you're on the bench now. So guys need to really understand that, and good job by him.
Davis, nice hesitation. It's cut off on the baseline. DiBonsa with 7, double team comes over, wide open Davis.
And Colorado is going to live with that. They're picking their poison right now.
Nearly turn it over here, but they get away with it. Stays with the Buffs. Why is that something they'll live with on the other end?
Well, I just think it's better than DiBonsa going to the rim. You know, when he gets to the rim or gets in the lane, when he touches the paint, it's too much. And, you know, look, Davis is a good shooter, but he's not a great shooter. His stats and the numbers are lower than probably what he could be doing.
Ron Sheik with a bounce inside. Dak has a chance at a three-point play and the opportunity to tie the game.
I mean, Ron Sheik is out here acting like he's DiBonsa. I mean, right now, he's facilitating everything. And you see the Queta went to double right there. And every time, what Ron Sheik's doing really well is not waiting for the double to happen. He is making the pass a split second before it happens and getting BYU kind of off their defensive game.
Dak with the three-point play ties this game at 39, and Colorado has scored the last 7.
Now that was the exact start Colorado needed to the second half.
BYU won't get the 3 from DiBonsa. It's a one and done after Colorado hits the glass.
You know, no, I was worried. If you're a Colorado fan, I'd be worried about Colorado's confidence. Well, they have confidence. They're locked in now, you know, just 3 minutes into this second half, and that's a huge thing for them to try to finish this off.
Dak floats it in, and Colorado takes the lead. Pass deflected out of bounds by Hargress, stays with BYU.
Here's that last bucket. Dak got pretty good position, and what did he do? He got up on the jump hook faster than Queta could get that big, strong body into Dak. The quickness, too quick for the body of Queta.
After a scoreless game on Wednesday, Dak already has 9. A great bounce-back performance on the road against number 22 BYU. DiBonsa wraps a pass to Davis. Another BYU turnover.
Definitely a little frustration with this BYU team right here. Going into the second half, felt pretty good with where they were. Colorado getting on them early in the second half.
Buffaloes have not missed a shot in this half. Until now, of course. Johnson swirls out the 3. Fight for the rebound. It was Holland in amongst 3 white jerseys. And it's BYU ball.
No, BYU ball, but Colorado's standing up as if they just scored a bucket. They're so excited for the effort from their squad. You see here's the effort. A lot of guys, a lot of hands in there. Did it go off Holland?
They ended up saying foul on Holland.
Okay, that's right. And Holland's done a nice job just scrapping, fighting. And then moving DiBonsa to now the right wing. Takes that long jump. And I think why they called the travel was when he landed right left instead of on 2 feet, and that's what caused them to call the travel there.
3 turnovers in the first 4 minutes of this second half for BYU. Colorado has scored the last 9 points of the game from down 7 up 2.
And when we talk about stops from Colorado, they finally got some stops.
And they get another bucket from Dak. He's into double figures.
Yeah, Dak and Ron Sheik have been special in this second half. Their length is just really difficult to deal with. There it is again.
Yeah, can't get it because of Dak's defensive presence. Hargress going right at Davis, lays it in with the left.
Hargress is incredible at the rim. And Colorado, I mean, the body language for them right now is at an all-time high in this game.
A 13-0 run for Colorado. They've got a 6-point lead. Dak scored 7 in a row, and then it was Hargress on the last possession. Buffs rolling early in the second half. What a special day it is inside the Marriott Center here in Provo, Utah. The jersey retirement of one of the legends to play in college basketball, and here at BYU, Jimmer Fredette, who had his jersey retired, hung in the rafters at halftime just moments ago, and he is kind enough to join us now. Jimmer, first off, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I imagine it's got to be really hard in this moment right now to truly describe what it feels like, but as you sit here with everything that's going on in the last 24 hours, how do you describe the emotions of what you feel?
Yeah, it floods back all the memories, both on and off the floor, right? Like, a lot of times you just think about the on-the-floor stuff, but a lot of it was off the floor with my friends and just my college teammates, just being knuckleheads and having a great time playing basketball. So just an incredible experience. I mean, it's speechless, right? Like, you're out there, it's a really quick ceremony, and then you're kind of off and ready. Yeah. But it's up there now. It's crazy.
That's awesome. I mean, well, one of the things I remember, and you go back to that time, Jimmer Mania, like I look back in the last 25 years, I don't remember a time where people got so excited about your game and what you were doing and scoring the long shots and all those things. Like, what do you remember and how that evolved?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, it didn't obviously start when I was a freshman. It really started kind of like my senior year and into my senior year when it really blew up, right? But it was something where we caught the country by storm. Obviously, BYU hadn't been amazing at basketball to that point. We'd been good, but not like nationally ranked for a long period of time, being in the top 10. So I think that helped. Our team was really good, and then I was shooting those long-range shots. And people were like, "Where is he shooting from? Why is this doing this? Yes, why is he pulling up from there?" But then making them, and so I think that all played a part. Social media was just starting at the time, so people were starting to kind of go into it. So it was kind of fun.
Well, talk about the long-range shots, and we watched Colorado here miss that one, but I got a front seat. I called your game against Arizona when you went for 49, and it's still the all-time record in the McHale Center.
It is.
I mean, my goodness, there's some of the accolades that you had.
Yep.
I mean, when you had 49 and you started hitting those long-range shots, what was the inspiration for that? What do you remember about that?
Yeah, I mean, it all started when I was young. My brother is 7 years older than me, my sister 9, so I had to play with big kids at a young age, so I had to shoot from far out. So I learned how to do that when I was really young, and then I just kept going, and obviously that Arizona game was absolutely special. The McHale Center was awesome. They were good that year. They're always really good. But to have a record in a building like that and to put up 49 and make those threes and kind of put myself but also the team on a national stage at that point, we're like, oh, we got to kind of watch out for BYU. So it's really a special night.
Matt and I are rocking the replica jerseys.
Yeah, you are.
All 18,000 plus seats had them. When we walked in here yesterday for practice, it was really special as Pope was able to finish on the line from Davis. When you walked in and saw all of those 32s on the seats, what did you feel?
I mean, I came in yesterday morning because they were like, hey, come check it out. And I came in and was not expecting that and saw all the jerseys, every single seat. That is amazing, right? Obviously, that cost them a lot of money. So, I mean, to do that in general, but just like the whole weekend has just been absolute first class. And I just want to recognize BYU for what they've done for us and our family this weekend, because it's truly been incredibly special, and I'm glad that my family and friends that I'm super close with have been able to, to see this whole thing.
Yeah, especially your kids, and to really understand that. We're looking here at AJ DeMonsa, and we all know he's incredible. It might be the 1 or 2 pick. Like, when you see him, what are some of the things that stand out to you?
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen him live. I've watched him a lot on TV, obviously, being a BYU guy, but he just, the thing I love about him is how competitive he is and how he makes the right play. Like, that's the one thing about it. He's not a guy that's going to necessarily just force the issue. He's going to make the right play. He's going to make the right pass. Obviously, you see his mid-range right there. He's great in the mid-range. But he's a guy that's been the best player on USA basketball's team when they've won gold medals. That's saying something. He's a great player.
A winner, right?
Yes, absolute winner.
Speaking of winning, Colorado right now on a little bit of a run this second half, but this BYU team, to me, number 4 in the country in offense. Yeah. They're right around 54 in defense. I think if they button that up, they have a high ceiling. Sure. What would it mean to be a Final Four team for this BYU team?
We haven't been there before, right? So because of that, it's what fans are craving the most, right? A Final Four appearance, and we really obviously had high expectations for this team. We hope that that could be the case. You never know when you get into March Madness. It's literally about who's playing the best at that time and who's kind of gotten hot, and this team can do that, right? They got the right players, they got the right coach, the right system to be able to do that in the tournament. So we'll remain to be seen, but we're really excited about this group.
Rob Wright, the third at the free throw line. There was a technical just called on the Colorado bench after they did not like the last call on the foul against Devonsa. So I want to go back. Your kids now, 8, 6, and 3,
yes,
correct?
Yes.
So I know that they've gotten to see some, a large portion of the professional career. But how close are we to firing up YouTube, pulling up the BYU highlights, and saying, "Hey, Dad was a problem now"?
Let me tell you something. I saw them do it for the first time not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah. My daughter got it because she's starting to like, oh, what is going on here? Like, why do so many people want pictures, all those different things? So she pulled it up, and my son and her were like, oh my goodness, what are you shooting? What is going on here? Dad, do you ever miss? Like all these funny things. And it was absolutely incredible, and to have them be here and experience it, now them playing basketball and different things and being involved, it's awesome.
Well, to extend that just a little further, I remember, again, I was at that game where you were shooting literally 30, 35 footers like it was nothing, and I know Steph does that now, and Steph,
oh yeah,
the best shooter of all time in the history of the world.
Yep.
Even you would say that, but
and
he shoots from almost half court, but he wasn't doing that at that time. And I wondered to take you back to like 2009 when you started doing that. Do you remember anybody else doing that? Did you have any like awareness of Steph starting to do that and some of the other guys?
It was one of those things where not really. I mean, obviously I saw people shoot from long distances. People have done that in the NBA, but not like consistently before that. And it was something, like I said, I just kind of did it all the time. When I was younger, I was shooting. So my dad would be like, we would go and play in a third grade basketball game, and we would play against the local team, and my dad would be like, hey, do you guys count three-pointers? And the team's like, we can barely make layups. What do you mean? And I was like, well, we got a kid that makes those three-pointers, and that was me. Always shooting from deep, deep ranges, and I did it in high school and just kind of kept doing it. So it was something that I just learned from a young age, and I was like, if they're not going to guard me and I can make it, I'm going to shoot it. So.
I thought about this morning, and you said it when you spoke during your speech at halftime. You said it, I've played in the NBA, I've played overseas, multiple different countries, but everywhere I go, everybody knows me as Jimmer from BYU. What does that mean to you?
It means a ton. It's something where being synonymous with this school means something more to me than just basketball, right? It's a part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and as being a good person and trying to be someone who's a follower of Christ and bring people to Christ and be a good example. That's something that's important to me, and it's something that this institution is definitely all about. So I do the best that I can to just try to treat people the right way and give this institution a good name when I go out on the road and play against all these different people in all these different countries. So it means a lot more than just basketball to me.
Well, Jimmer, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on a well-earned, well-deserved day. And I know a lot of it's over now, but soak it all in because this is incredible.
I got some food to eat still. So the night is still young.
Cougar tails?
Got some cougar tails? We already had a cougar tail.
You had one?
Oh, we already had one for sure. The dinner before the dinner.
Thanks so much, Jimmer.
Thanks so much,
congratulations.
Guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So the officials at the monitor now, there was Bengot Dak for Colorado took a shot right up in the throat area from Ahmad, Ahmed there, as you see. And so they're going to the monitor to see if this is anything flagrant.
After reviews, incidental contact.
Oh, there you have it. Incidental contact was what the call was there. So nothing out of the ordinary. That was fun, wasn't it? Getting a chance to talk with Jimmer.
Well, just
on a day like this.
What a genuine person he is, and humble, right? You can tell. I mean, he's got his jersey up there right in the middle right now. I'm looking up at it, and I don't want to keep being redundant about that game that I saw when he had 49, but I can't tell you, like, it was one of the most astonishing things I've seen in basketball in my life.
Well, BYU's got some work to do. I know it's a special day here, jersey retirement, but BYU having a tough second half. They were up 5 at the break, down 4, now down 2 as Rob Wright gets a bucket back.
Well, his ability to score in the lane, not just the rim, and we see him get downhill a lot, but that little short jump hook, that was a soft touch, very pretty.
Kick out, Michele off the mark on the 3, and a foul is called against Sanders that has Rob Wright on the floor.
Looked like he got him, bumped him in his head, right? They may look at that one as well.
They are. Kevin Young walked over and said, I want you guys to look at this one like you just did the last one against Dak. So they are, in fact, going to take a look at it. We're going to take the timeout with them. We'll get word on what the review is after this. Colorado on the road against top 25 BYU, up a pair. That last common foul on Josiah Sanders, they went to the monitor, they upgraded to a flagrant 1. Your thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, I think that was the right call. When you think about the rule, right, it's got to be excessive, unnecessary, or too much. And that's what it felt like right there. And I think they got that right. Those are tough calls to make. That one, Tad Boyle did not contest as much as the previous one.
So Rob Wright at the free throw line where he's got a game-high 17 after the free throw. Been a tough day for him. Had the ankle injury early in the game, shot in the face there.
Hey, Big 12 basketball at its finest. And
yep.
Now, this is why I think the Big 12 is the best league in the country. We can have that argument about, certainly last year the SEC did something I hadn't seen maybe ever. And the Big 10 has its own physicality, but the Big 12 has a special physicality to it. We're seeing that in the second half, and that's partly because Colorado's brought the fight in the second half. They've made this little mini comeback and tied the game.
Down 5 at the break, down as many as 7 at one point in this second half. They took the lead moments ago, tied at 51 now. And BYU with an unforced error there, a turnover, gives it back to Colorado.
Yeah, a lot of guys in positions, not normally, and that's no excuse, right? That's a play they make every time. And so, not having Saunders has turned out to be an issue for this BYU team. The thing about Saunders is not only is he just such a great scorer, but he's a spacer. He spaces on the wing. He allows Bubansa to have more room out there.
Johnson rises for 3 and cans it.
And Johnson is an incredible scorer for a freshman. He has such good instincts of when to shoot, when to take it to the rim. He's got a game that goes from the perimeter to the free throw line, and he steps up in big environments.
A foul on Sanders on the drive. The coaching staff for Colorado said when they signed Isaiah Johnson, they thought he might be a bit of a project, but they said it didn't take long for us to realize, no, he's going to be good, and he's going to be good immediately.
Yeah, and they were saying, they were looking for, who's the guy on this team, and it didn't take long. He is the guy, and he carries himself in a great way, has no problem with it. And again, that confidence that you get on the road as a road team, when you start knocking down shots, they're up 3 now, and that's the type of thing that's going to carry over to the end of the game, really. So BYU's got its work cut out with this wounded animal Colorado, as we called him earlier.
A.J. Bonsa hits the front end of the 1-and-1. That's something to monitor. Free throws for BYU on every Colorado foul the final 11.5 minutes of this game. Chance for a top 25 win on the road for Colorado in one of the best environments in all of college basketball. This is Dak. He scored 7 straight for Colorado earlier this half. Ron Sheik has the size, steps through the defense, and with the right hand can't finish, but he's got free throws.
Interesting now, they are doubling Ron Sheik. That time he waited, and as you pointed out, ripped through it, stepped through it with such force there. He was able to get the shot at the rim. Watch this here. So he waits. That time the double comes, watch him, boom, right through it so strong and quick. He has done an amazing job with double teams, and probably for a guy that hasn't had a ton of doubles this year. I mean, DiBonsa sees it every game, what, 4, 5, 10 times or more. I don't think Ron Sheik has seen that all year to that level. He's done a great job with it.
It's been an up and down last couple of weeks for Ron Sheik, who had just 3 points, 1 of 8 from the field against Texas Tech, but was really important in that win against Arizona State. He had a 17-point, 11 rebound double-double a weekend ago. DiBonsa isolates. Oh, what a move. Gets into the lane, hangs in the air, but can't finish. Stays with the Cougs.
Yeah, there's the stride we talk about from A.J. DiBonsa. But the defense was there. Watch, they have 2 guys right in the lane. Then they have 1 guy come up on A.J. So it's just going to be tough for him. They did a good job on verticality right there not to cause the foul.
DiBonsa bumped off his path, fades away from 15 and rattles it in.
And he wanted the foul before the shot, but he did such a good job gathering after it looked like he was so off balance and did get hit.
Came just the second BYU freshman ever to 600 points earlier in this game. Colorado's got the answer right back. McKaylee with the bucket.
What a catch right there. That's
transition 3 for Davis, swirls it down.
The best time to hit a 3 after a rebound or transition. I like that look, and I like the shot right there because that's going to be open for him. He's been really good in some of these games in the second half this year. Arizona game comes to mind.
Johnson gets into the paint, had the ball whisked away. DiBonsa with numbers for the Cougars. Wright thought about the 3, gets by the defender in the paint, swatted, but they're going to count the bucket.
Yeah, good call on the goaltend there. So here's AJ setting it up because he, look at it, draws the whole Colorado team into the lane. Davis, that's just shooting practice.
Triple-double watch for A.J. DiBonsa right now. 15 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Jimmer alluded to it when we had him on just moments ago. He said the most impressive thing to him about A.J. DiBonsa is he doesn't force anything, right? He's one of the best scorers and players in college basketball, but he makes the right decision at all times.
Yeah, he really does. And you know the thing about watching him too today, he doesn't need to be a bully to get his shots. He does it with size, skill, length, all those things, but he doesn't necessarily bully as well.
Johnson misfired on the 3.
Oh.
Wright saves it in, but right to Holland, and there's nobody there.
There's an old rule that you never save it in on your side of the bucket, but he saw Davis there, and so it looked like they just got off communication. He thought Davis was going to go toward the bucket.
DiBonsa with an in-out dribble on the baseline. Bounces to the top right, 1 more to Davis. DiBonsa the rebound and a foul against Colorado. It goes against Ron Sheik.
Well, this place was about to blow if he makes that one. In fact, I was waiting for your call right there. I could tell you were getting up there right there because you can feel it in the arena. They're just kind of waiting for this big run from BYU.
Cougs led by 5 at halftime, but Colorado has controlled a majority of this first 10.5 minutes of the second half.
And it feels the last, 2 minutes. DiBonsa's been much more aggressive. It feels like right now he's looked up and said, okay, 12, 11 minutes to go, now 9:19. He's taking it to the rim. He's taking it at this defense. It's going to be all AJ these last 9 minutes.
Came into this game averaging 31 over the last 6 on 55% from the field. It hasn't been the most efficient day for him today shooting the ball, but that's been one of the things he's done so well all season. Hargress into the paint, kick out. McKaylee thought about it, then took the 3 and was offline.
I think the hesitation is what made him miss.
Wright rips the ball away. It was nearly a held ball. Bošković into the paint. Davis steps back. No, and Ron Sheik flies for the rebounds.
Kind of feels like a tough shot there by Davis. They could have gotten a better one if they had swung that one. Ron Sheik looking at a Jimmer shot.
Johnson almost got the bounce, and DiBonsa corrals his 9th rebound of the game.
And AJ on attack mode right here. Look at 3 Colorado guys lining up.
Wright swirls in the three off the feed from DeBonsa.
And why was that open for Robert Wright III? Because DeBonsa attacked instead of walking the ball up. I love that.
Timeout taken by Tad Boyle. BYU on a run now, and the Cougars take a 5-point lead.
Yeah, and you can feel the crowd. There's that three because of the defense. DeBonsa making things happen here in Provo.
On Jimmer Fredette jersey retirement day here at BYU, it's the Cougs up 5 on Colorado thanks to a 10-2 run. Hasn't so much been the scoring of A.J. DeBonsa tonight, Matt, but more so the playmaking.
Yeah, he's really facilitated well. Looked for his teammates, such a willing passer, and it's, you know, pretty cool to say that when he's leading the nation right now in points, right? And he's got 7 assists, his career high is 10. Look at him there, he created the space right there for Davis, and he's been doing it all game. He really has such incredible vision when he dribbles.
7 assists today for DeBonsa. He's got the 9 rebounds, and what a luxury it is to sit here and us say, well, he really hasn't scored the ball very well. He's still got a quiet 17.
I know, right? I mean, that is something, and it's just fun to watch him. You know what sticks out to me too, watching him right now? He is not a transactional player. We use that term in today's, world. He's invested in this team, in this community. He's going to be here 1 year, but he's not just transactional.
Holland got to the lane, shot was altered by Ahmed. Here comes BYU with a chance to run. DeBonsa in and out. Bošković had the rebound ripped away from him by Dak.
And he slaps his hand. He knew he had such a good look, and it looked like it was right on line.
Dak takes the three. Down and out.
That would have been huge for Colorado.
Oh, look at DeBonsa flying through the paint. Davis got the defender up. Steps through. Bošković. Hard drive into lane. Might have gotten away with a step. And then there's a foul against BYU on the glass.
Yeah, a couple shots, and I give them credit, BYU, for trying to pass it. We got a good one here, Noah. 5-point game.
BYU trying to hold on against an upset-minded Colorado team inside the Marriott Center. An electric atmosphere in college basketball. A BYU team that Mike DeCourcy has sitting on the 6th line right now. 4 straight losses bumped them all the way back from what was a 3 at the time down to about a 6 seed currently. And this is a look at the resume for the Cougars. 18-6 overall. Strength of schedule is really high. And as we said, Mike DeCourcy with a 6 seed for Kevin Young's team.
Yeah, and they really have not had a bad loss all season. They've been really good. Maybe Oklahoma State, that's probably the one. But, we were just talking about it, on the break, Noah, and I think this BYU team is uniquely positioned to make a run and maybe get their first Final Four for these BYU fans. And why? Well, you got the #1 pick potentially that can create, get shots, score 30 when you need them. You have a point guard that can get downhill, and that's the key. It's guard play in the tournament when there's short, just like we have here, 3 minutes to go. What's happened? Robert Wright has been dominating in the lane.
That free throw gave him a career-high 31. It's back-to-back 30-point games for the BYU point guard. Hargress isolates against him, spins, kicks, one more. Ronchik to the cup, almost put a man on a poster, but he missed the dunk. Second chance, Johnson 3, got it!
It actually worked out better for Colorado. They get 1 more point. Now they're only down 2 with 2:40 to go. What a possession.
Colorado with a chance for its first top 25 win of the season and trying to do it on the road.
He's going.
DeBonsa gets into the lane, and it crawls off the front of the rim.
And if you look at the shot, he was just outside the square where that ball hit. If it hits the square or inside, it goes in.
Johnson downhill, the floater way too strong. Boarded by Wright. BYU pushing the pace. Wright, spins in the lane, and he's fouled by Holland. Chance to add to his career-high 31 points.
Boy, that Ronchik, that was a great call by Noah, because that was going to bring not the house down, but for Colorado, good job by Ahmed to get there, but they traded 2 for 3.
Ron Sheik, I'm sure, wanted the highlight, but Colorado will take the extra point down to 2 minutes to go.
Well, and I was going to add to that point I was making on BYU potentially making a run. Interesting, in this building right now, we have Danny Manning, assistant coach with Tad Boyle, and I remember in '88, he was actually the Danny and the Miracles when they won it. And in that tournament, you can get one guy that gets so hot and is so talented, like a Dibonsa, that you can go all the way.
Rob Wright was on that Montverde Academy team in high school with Cooper Flagg and Derek Queen. They went 33-0, and their head coach at the time said, "We are not an undefeated team without Rob Wright. He is what makes this team go."
I've been impressed by him a big time. He is a big-time point guard.
Hargress kicks out. Holland with a bounce into Dak. Floats it in. 2-point game again.
Dak is so much better than the numbers on the stat sheet when you see him live in his length and ability.
Dibonsa had it knocked away from him. It was last touched by Isaiah Johnson. Stays with BYU, 14 on the shot clock.
Yeah, he had it in his hands. So he was lamenting, he's holding his hands right now that he literally had it.
Kevin Young takes the timeout here. He's got just one remaining with his team up 2 and 1:26 to go. On a day where you've had no Richie Saunders and where A.J. Dibonsa has not been as efficient scoring the basketball as he usually is, Rob Wright III has been crucial.
Well, Coach Kevin Young used one of my favorite sayings in basketball. Rob Wright has wiggle. And I don't say that lightly. Not a lot of guys have wiggle. Like, you have to really, when you watch him able to just beat anybody off the dribble and finish above size, there he is, splitting the double team. Again, not an easy finish. He is special.
23 points in the second half alone for Rob Wright, and he has not missed a shot since then. 7 of 7 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, a perfect 7 for 7 at the line as well for a career-high 33 for the sophomore point guard.
I mean, you talk about playing high level, back-to-back career highs, and 14 shots and 33 points is insane.
30 against his former team Baylor Tuesday night, 33 more tonight. BYU clinging to a 2-point lead. Dibonsa takes contact. 8 to shoot, has to get rid of it. Wright against Hargress, tapped away from him. Colorado forces the turnover. Chance to tie or even take the lead on this possession. Ron Sheik can't give him the lead. BYU's got it.
Ron Sheik, if you're Colorado, that's a great shot. And he had so much momentum, I thought he took a little bit off because he didn't want to overshoot it, so maybe overcompensated. That's why it was short.
There was an issue with the clock. So they are going to come over and take a look at it here to see exactly where the game clock and shot clock should be at.
Timing error.
This is an opportunity for both Kevin Young and Tad Boyle to get an extra timeout here with their teams.
Yeah, and I think so much pressure right now just to kind of take a breather and calm yourself down.
So clock is at, let's see, off the miss, it gets reset to 30, but the game clock stops at 106, and the shot clock doesn't start either. For every bit of 8, 10, 12 seconds, I would guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So then it began to run again, and that's, I mean, it sits at 59.7 and 22 on the shot clock, but
Chris Burgess working with Coach Roman right there to drop a play.
They've got the stopwatch out right in front of us, too. with the monitor in front of us. Chirag Devaskar, our producer, said he counted 14 seconds that the clock was stopped.
By the way, shout out to Chirag Devaskar and Erica and everybody in the truck. They've been killing it today. We've got a lot of stops and replays, and referee looks at the monitor.
Two-point BYU lead. Under a minute to go. We'll get the exact time here just in a moment once they figure that out. BYU has lost 4 of its last 5. They certainly have not been playing their best ball recently. The Colorado team that's coming off a 34-point loss has a chance for a top 25 win on the road.
After review, we're at 52.8 on the game clock and 18 on the shot clock.
Well, there you go. 52 seconds on the game clock, 18 on the shot clock.
Now, depending how fast BYU shoots this, Colorado could have a 2-for-1 that they could take advantage of.
Got to imagine BYU's aware of that, right? Take
They
as
are.
much time here.
Yeah, that's it. Look at them. They're taking the time. Good job by Kevin Young to see that, of course, NBA.
3 to shoot. Right, kick out. Devonsa, sidestep, 1 to shoot. Short on the 3, Ron Sheik the rebounds.
Wow, and I thought the fake, he may not have had time. He got it off, though.
Listen to this place, and Tad Boyle calls a timeout. Woo, here we go, Matt. 26 seconds to go, 24 on the shot clock. And Isaiah Johnson, a freshman who's been there game after game for Colorado, has done it again tonight.
Well, he did it at the end of the first half, recall, right? And he's been doing it from outside, from inside. He loves to get to the rim or outside. He can shoot it mid-range, but he's either going to the rim or he's shooting the 3. And I'll tell you what, if I'm Colorado, I'm seriously thinking about the 3 right here.
Yeah.
You're on the road, you're down 2. If you get a good look, I'm letting it fly big time. And they've got the guys that can shoot it with Ron Sheik out there right now.
How soon would you want Colorado to go? Like, how much time on the clock do you think they need to take this shot?
You know what I would do is wait till it's at probably about 10 seconds. And because you want to shoot it with enough time that if you miss, you can get an offensive rebound and or foul BYU and even have a chance at a second time of coming back down. And so I'm wondering, and to me, I think Isaiah's going to hold it up there until, and it's, to me, just go screen and roll. Now, what does BYU do? Do they go double him right away when he holds it? He's going sooner than I thought.
He goes, gets downhill all the way to the basket, lays it in, and this game is tied with 18.4 to go.
It's so soon now. BYU, biggest thing here, they've got to take a shot at the very end. They can't give Colorado another shot at it.
Kevin Young has a timeout, and he takes it with 7.9 to go.
I mean, amazing play by Isaiah John. You can't criticize it. I mean, it would have been nicer to be a little lower, which I am partially criticizing, but what a great play by him. To give him all the credit in the world. Yeah, I wonder if he caught BYU.
I think so.
I think he did. I think Devonsa was sort of waiting for that 10-second.
I was
seeing right there, and they did a nice job clearing out that section. How does he get it over that size right there? Hit the top of the tape up top.
I was just about to say that because I think the fact that Colorado could go for a 2 or a 3 was in the mind there, but I don't think anybody thought Colorado was going to go immediately.
That quick.
And so let's shift over to the other huddle now. BYU, tie game, 7.9 to go. You've got A.J. Devonsa, but you have Rob Wright, who has a career-high 33 and been the hot hand. What do you think happens here?
Well, it was interesting. They ran a play against Arizona when this exact scenario was there, although they were down 1. their first option was DeBonsa. He was cut off, so they went to Robert Wright way in the back court, and they just let him go one-on-one from about 3/4 court. I don't know if they'll run the same play. It didn't work on that play. Braden Burries blocked Robert Wright III, but it was actually a pretty good play. You got to look at the rim. It was just a great defensive play. I think you just go, now look, he has DeBonsa in the backcourt. Yeah. Maybe what he does, he's maybe switching this play a little bit. Just throw it to DeBonsa in the back, let him go 1-on-0.
The potential #1 pick in the NBA draft, A.J. DeBonsa in the backcourt, tied at 78, 7.9 to go.
That's what he's doing.
Does BYU win it in regulation, or do we have 5 more minutes? Here's DeBonsa with 2. Downhill, step back, hand in his face, and short, and we are going to overtime in Provo.
Nice job by Colorado there. They really plugged up that screen. It was a little difficult because they had Wright that was the high screen right there. Watch. But Ron Sheik does a really nice job. And guarding him at 6'11" was one of the reasons that DeBonsa misses this, because it was really hard to shoot over that size. You see them go right here. Ron Sheik right on him. Did not go for the pump fake. That was key, because if he had gone for it, DeBonsa would have gone right into him. It would have been a free throw, and the game would have been over.
5 more minutes here in Provo. Number 22 BYU and Colorado tied at 78. Don't go anywhere. Great finish coming up.
Felt like he played it too, like nothing to lose, to your point.
Yep.
No fear at all.
Kevin Young said Colorado would come into this game today playing that way. They are wounded, they're struggling, but they are mad, and they're going to give it everything they got because they've got nothing to lose. It's Johnson with it here, weaving around the ball screen, spits it back out for Dak. His straightaway 3 is way off. Career high 33 for Rob Wright III. Back-to-back 30-point games. He scored 30 against his former team Baylor on Tuesday night. Wright double teamed off the screen. Kostic, no on the 3, boarded by Dak. Johnson stop and pop in transition, swirls out, and Wright the rebound for BYU.
Good shot if you're Colorado.
Wright lowers the shoulder into Hargress, fades away. He's got 35.
It was funny. Right as he got to half court, I heard a fan behind us say, "Take over," and he has taken over.
Ten to shoot. Johnson using the screen. Gets into the lane. Fades and hits.
Remember how I said he didn't have a lot of mid-range? Well, proving me wrong right there. That was beautiful. And again, playing off 2 feet, nice jump shot. Our stop. The defense goes down to the rim because of his gravity and then able to knock it in.
Freshman matches his career high with 25 tonight. Davis got the defender to fly by, attacks, takes contact, and finishes.
That is exactly what Kevin Young has been challenging Davis to do. Be more downhill, be more of an attack, and late in these games, he had pressure on the closeout. Great move. Crowd is into it.
Holland into the mid-range, leans into the defender, left it short.
Good D right there.
Relatively quiet night for A.J. DeBonsa by his standards. Just 19 points, but 11 rebounds, 8 assists. Has the one-on-one, and he's called for a carry. Second time he's been called for that tonight, and Kevin Young is beside himself.
Well, it's probably not a carry in the NBA, but I could tell when he went to take that dribble, there was a little bit of the hesitation. It was enough to call and probably enough not to call, too. So Young is orchestrating the play right here. Watch, he gets everybody out, clears out the side other than the open side ball screen, and there was a little bit of a carry there. I mean, It's hard to call that if, what do we got, 2 minutes and 22 seconds in overtime, though. You know, the one thing about those, and you got to call carries, it didn't really give them an advantage.
So they just corrected the call. They got together, the officials, and they said it was a travel.
Oh.
And I think it's because when he did the quote-unquote carry, he never dribbled it again. So
right.
He picked it up, and so they end up calling him for steps. Either way, it's a BYU turnover. Chance to tie or take the lead here in overtime for Colorado. Holland for three. Won't get the bounce. A fight for the rebound. Ron Sheik comes away with it, and he's fouled.
Tad Boyle just clinched both of his fists, turned around and shook them as if to say that's the toughness we've been missing. That hustle played there by Ron Sheik. It was a little bit lucky that the ball was a scramble, but Ron Sheik just a terrific job getting his nose in there.
1-and-1 for Ron Sheik, an 86% free throw shooter.
Kevin Young just called the play for BYU already after the shot. It'll be interesting to see what play it is. I think he was calling, it might have been a post-up for DeBonson, so we'll see on this next possession.
Ron Sheik's 2 free throws ties the game up, 82 to go. 82 with 2:05 to go in overtime. DeBonson comes up to set the screen on Wright. Wright with the floater, won't get the roll. Holland is fouled by Ahmed. So Colorado has a chance to take the lead now in overtime.
Good call. There's contact on top of him there. Good hustle.
Jalen Holland, the freshman out of New Mexico, at the line. Oh, he missed the front end of the 1-and-1, and BYU's got the rebounds.
Back to that, well, they look like they're changing plays here. Same play there, getting DeBonson on that high pick and roll to get it back to him in the middle of the floor. Thought he would take that.
8 to shoot. Wright working on Ron Sheik. Wright spins, kick, Kostic, 3, got it!
How about Kostic? That might have been Richie Saunders, but today, on Valentine's Day, Kostic comes through.
One of the best atmospheres that college basketball has lived up to it. BYU up 3 with 1:15 to go in overtime thanks to this 3 from Kostic.
Well, Wright did such a great job, obviously drawing traffic. Johnson was closing out, but remember, he's only 6'1", so Kostic with his size at 6'4", had the length over him, and talk about his biggest shot ever as a BYU Cougar on Jimmer Fredette Day. Fitting that a deep 3 is putting them on top.
Could he be the most unexpected of heroes for BYU today? Johnson shut off on the drive by Davis. Hargress turns the corner. Kick out, Ron Sheik for 3. It's off the mark. Dak the offensive rebound. .50 seconds to go. Hargress, Ron Sheik again. Short, offensive rebound. Hargress, kick, corner, Dak to tie. No, DeBonson the rebound. 3 incredible looks, but they come up empty-handed. And now Colorado has to foul.
But a good job by BYU not giving the looks to Johnson or Hargress. I don't think either of those two had a look. But you're right, they were open and they were good shots. And you know, in that situation, I'm always, you know, if you can get a quick 2, I always think that works, and that's what Hargress was trying to do. But they got 3 great looks.
A 2-possession lead on the made free throw by Rob Wright. Goes 1 of 2. Ron Sheik the rebound. They got to go, and they got to go quick. Down 2 scores. Johnson. DeBonce the rebound, and he's fouled. They can feel it in Provo.
He makes 2 here. That should put him up 2 possessions and almost guarantee the win. Yeah, 4 threes now, 0 for 4 in the last minute. That was another good look right there by Johnson. And that's the guy you want shooting.
Ron Sheik fouls out on that last one. Not the most efficient day shooting for A.J. DeBonce, but 20 points, 14 rebounds, 8 assists. One for 2 at the line. Dak the rebound. 20 seconds to go.
So
Hargress blows right by the defender. Shot was altered by Ahmed, but a whistle sends Hargress to the free throw line. Not over yet.
Not over yet. He would have to, I guess, make both free throws. Looked like a tough foul right there. Ahmed did a pretty good job staying away from him. Got a little body, but not much. And I wonder here, I don't think Tad will do this. If you're Colorado, you hope to make the 2. You got to foul BYU and hope they miss both. But there's an argument for just trying to miss it and trying to get it back so you can get 2 or 3. I don't think he'll do that. Remember, there are some guys out there that haven't played a ton of minutes for BYU.
Hargress hits both. 1 possession game again with 17.4 to go. They got it into right. There's the foul.
Yeah, and the reason you make it if you're Hargress is theoretically Colorado could get the ball, score, and foul again. So there's still time to get 2 possessions for them, and they're trying to somehow, how do they make up the 3 points? They've got to have 1 miss here.
Wright already missed 1 his last time to the line. Hits the first 2-score game again. He's got 37.
Not easy in overtime and how many minutes he's played and how much he's really handled the ball.
Pair of free throws for Rob Wright. 5-point lead for BYU. And Colorado's got to be getting all 3s now, right?
They have to get a 3 here. They've got to get a 3. Hope for a miracle that somehow BYU misses a free throw.
Hargress calls the timeout. 13 seconds to go. The final Colorado timeout. Came into this game talking a lot about A.J. DeBonce, and rightfully so, but it's been a couple other guys. Isaiah Johnson on the Colorado side was spectacular tonight.
He really is and was, and that left hand when he gets to the rim, it's just so, I think, different for a lot of defenders. He's able to finish over the top of size, and he just has a feel for the game that one of the most underrated. We talk about all these freshmen. He is one of the most underrated one in the country.
And Rob Wright on the other side, 30 against his former team, Baylor. He's backed it up with 38 today.
He's a guy that, to me, can play in the next league, and I know some people haven't talked about that, but his ability to just control the game and control pace. He can score both at the rim and outside. He's got a great 3-point shot. I don't think he takes enough with his percentage. Leads this team. You look at him right now, I think he's over 45% for the year. See what Tad Boyle draws up. They need a quick hitter, pass screen, and just bomb from 3.
Holland to inbound, got it into Johnson. He drives to the basket. They will get the 2, but with 9.6 to go, they're running out of time. Holland fouls Wright, who has a chance to go to the line for a 40-piece.
Jeez, oh my goodness. Well, and I understand scoring quickly. The problem, though, is now they need Wright to miss both.
Yes.
And that's, the odds of that are pretty slim.
Considering he's 10 of 11 at the line today and an 80% free throw shooter on the year. 2-possession game again. This is what Kevin Young's team has coming up. Number 1 Arizona, number 5 Iowa State the next 2. My goodness.
And that's why obviously it's so important for them to win at home.
1 for 2. DeBonce's called for a foul on the rebound. This gets really interesting now.
Well, and again, what they could do, should do, is I think you make the first, miss the second, and try to throw it out to the three-point line. So you're saying there's a chance. I didn't see a whole lot there.
Yeah,
what was it? I didn't see anything there. I mean, it went from a whole lot to nothing, really. That's not a foul. He's got to make the first, and he didn't.
Holland, the freshman, just a 66% free throw shooter, has now missed 2 free throws in overtime.
Well, he's going to miss this one. And you see Dak on the one side, going to be a scramble.
In and out on the free throw, Davis the rebound, and they're going to let him dribble it out. BYU survives at home in overtime. Well, they're going to see if this ball went out of bounds with time on the clock. I don't think it did. I think the clock expired, but they're going to say point 3.